Peace, 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 peace. Peace to the fam, peace to the gods, peace to the goddesses, peace to everybody out there. Anybody out there want to get out there, come enjoy this live, come on in. Stretch it out for the late night people that want to be up all night to get some knowledge, entertain yourself, whatever the case might be, you know, doing things on the real high vibration. Hit the like, subscribe to the channel, all the cool stuff, you know what I'm saying? We go get into this law of rhythm today. We go get into this college debate. Should you go? Should you not go? Should your kids go? Huh? Should you force your kids to go? A lot of people don't know that it's a college agenda that has been imposed upon us. And I'm going to break that down using two of some of our favorite characters. Mr. Bill Cosby and good old Kanye West. Yes, indeed. For the most part, a lot of y'all know Bill Cosby's story. And Bill Cosby's story, it ended up as a sad one, to say the least. I ain't the one who go talk about good or bad, what he did or didn't do when it comes to that part of the game. All of the charges that he ended up getting, slipping them that pill, slipping them the Jello pudding pop right down the right in their beverage. Yes, indeed. Yeah, he got caught up in that big old scandal, in and out of jail, and a lot of people don't know the real reason why they ended up coming after him. It ain't really had nothing to do. Well, it did had a little bit to do with some of that other stuff, but they would have let him go ahead and get away with it. But Bill Cosby got a big mouth, right? And Bill Cosby is a part of the Boule, which is a secret hidden society that's kind of created kind of like a lower level type of Illuminati thing. It's really more of like, as I say, they are gangs, but Boule like a high level fraternity. If you want to start to say, all right, you got fraternities, the Boule, Illuminati, or so long, or whatever those scales may be, you would say that he is somewhere in between there. And basically what the Boule is their part of their agenda is to send people to college as they make money off of that college scam. We go get into that as I show you all of the information that is readily available, but you know, a lot of times people don't put it all together. But once you start putting this information together, I guarantee you it's gonna change, may change your perspective, you know. But that, I ain't guaranteeing shit. It may or may not change your perspective, but that's what I'm looking forward to do, you know. So let's get right into this thing, all right? For sure. Let's get right into this thing. You got Bill Cosby, right? Bill Cosby, initially part of the Boule, bringing forth the Cosby Show. Part of the Cosby Show was giving people the idea of what an educated family looks like, and they made it black particularly, right? And you go see on the timeline why they did that. But as he created that show, it's funny that the very first episode, right? Remember, the show came full circle. The very first episode, the pilot episode, which is one of all of our favorite episodes, was the one where Bill Cosby was giving Theo the Monopoly game treatment for him not knowing how to, not wanting to go to college, right? He didn't want to go to college. Bill Cosby basically gave him a couple of dollars in Monopoly money and played the we're going to budget game with him. And with that being said, right, that whole Cosby Show began a movement because remember, it ended with Theo graduating from college, right? And as the culmination of that show, it was a different world as well. A different world as that show evolved, right? And Denise Huxtable was supposed to be on that show. And if you want to find out more detail of what's going on with Bill Cosby, look up the Brother Panic video that he did on Bill Cosby. And this is kind of a continuation into that logarithm of what he was talking about. Bill Cosby got caught up in is the same thing that Kanye West getting caught up in. And you might be wondering, like, well, what do Kanye West got to do with this college agenda? It's all based on the rhythm on how they push agendas one way and push another agenda another way. And therefore, you're locked in a little box of a matrix of what to do, what not to do, and they're controlling the whole narrative of the whole shit. Now, on the if you go back, look into the archives of the previous shows, you will see the content that I put up about Crazy Bone exposing the music industry back in 1991. That diabolical shit. But the diabolicalness gets much more elaborate as I'm about to show you coming forth. It's a beautiful ass day, beautiful ass night, and what we're going to get into is a little bit of Kanye West. We know a lot about Bill. We know a lot about Bill and everything that he went through, but we're going to take you through the timeline a little bit, okay? So before we get too far into this game, let me show y'all the timeline. This here timeline is one of those type of timelines that I ended up making for myself to be able to explain the chronological order of kind of how things went down in this thing. All right. So, got the timeline right here. And this timeline is going to give you all the key points of what happened along the way in this battle that we have, right, for this rhythm, this law of polarity, right? So, according to this timeline, things start off with good old James Brown in the 1960s. I'm black and I'm proud, right? The idea of being black is they put it in song. People don't know James Brown, CIA, co-op, all of that stuff. Part of the reason he put out the song is to put up the ideology of calling everybody black. Remember, it's always an opposite polarity. White people chose their side, and we didn't necessarily choose black, even though it may seem like we did because we got the song that said, I'm black and I'm proud, but that's because through the heritage that we lost, through the culture that we lost, through the identity that we lost along all of this history of humanity, history of the black man, history of the melanated man, history of all these things that we call ourselves, we ended up getting to a point to where now, if you don't call yourself black, it looks a little bit funny. People are like, well, what are you then? You're not black? You know, in this age of I can identify as anything the hell I want to identify as, if I wanted to, I should be able to be white. But folks will look at me and be like, shut your black ass up. You ain't no way you gonna pull off being white. But the reason why I'm saying this is because we have adopted this label of being black based on the song, based on ritual, based on repetition. And from that goes from James Brown. We got the blaxploitation films. And the top row represents the polarity of the opposite idea of what they want us to go to. So remember, there is a college agenda. The college agenda comes out of the James Brown, and it moves on further through the Jeffersons, moving on up to the east side. Where my east siders at? East siders. Yes, indeed. Where y'all at? Show me some love up in here, east side. But moving on to the Jeffersons in the 70s, and above that, you got Good Times, right? And Good Times showed you the poverty level of it, them trying to get out the ghetto, never did, and the opposite of it, the Jeffersons. What happens when you do get your shit together, and maybe you can get up here and mingle with the white people and be up on the top floor of a beautiful apartment, but that wasn't good enough to push the agenda. And that's where the Cosby Show ended up coming in. Cosby Show came out 1984, 1992. So that's almost a 10-year run of a commitment directly from the Cosby Show, and A Different World coming right after that, 1987 to 1993. So they double whammed y'all. They got you a show with Theo going to college, Bill Cosby mentoring him, coaching him as Dr. Huxtable, Father of the Year. We know how that go. Then you got A Different World come in, which is visually showing you the college experience, visually showing you the fun that you can have on campus, visually giving you the program, the idea that this is a good idea to go. All right. So now you ready to go to college after watching all of that Bill Cosby shit, after watching A Different World, after watching, all of the cool stuff that they had to get you in the mindset to go to college. On the opposite end of that spectrum, you got a show like Martin coming out. And you would say, well, what's the significance of a show like Martin? What has that got to do with it? It's the opposite polarity of that rhythm, right? In order to have rhythm, you got to have movement. So you're having movement within that vibration. That's the law of vibration. Out of the law of vibration is like birthed within. It's all combined as a rhythm. If you can get somebody wrapped into a rhythm, then you got control over them. So the ceiling of this rhythm is the jokes, the comedy, the buffoonery, you ain't got to go to college to be a comedian. You don't have to go to college to be in Hollywood. You don't have to go to college to do a lot of these other things, right? Keep in mind also during the 1990s, as I told y'all on the hip hop agenda, they had the meeting in Los Angeles to bring forth a new dynamic of music, gangster rap, right? Now, what people don't realize out of gangster rap yielded studio gangsters. And those studio gangsters, right? Those studio gangsters are the same ones that was making all of the music. But they didn't kill nobody. Studio gangsters didn't kill anybody. And that was the beautiful part about it. You could do a lot of things as a studio gangster, You could do a lot of things as a studio gangster. Do studio gangster, my favorite studio gangster. Always shout out Spice One. And not really no studio gangster. It's just the point of, because I can't say whether he killed nobody in real life or not. But if you listen to his records, you swear he killed 1,000 people on each song. He done killed you with every single type of gun. Blah! All of that cool stuff, man. He all right with me, you know what I'm saying? But what happened is that through the era of studio gangsters, you ended up spawning real, because it's already the hood. It's already grimy. We already coming up out of the crack era. We already done got guns dropped off in the hoods, dope getting sold. So it's already a war zone. And remember, the real gangster rap at first, when it came about selling dope, it was, I don't really want to do it. I gotta do it. I gotta feed my family. Like, it was like, we out here on the grind, we hustling. It's grimy, it's dirty. We gotta do this shit, but you don't really want to do this. You don't really want to be out on this corner having to sell to the pregnant woman and sell to your homeboy moms and all of that other shit. You know, it got real grimy. Like, them lyrics in the 90s when it came to selling dope, it was an art form. And if you was out there, you really understood what was going on. That's why that music was felt in that heart a different type of way. You know, that's why people felt Brenda's Got a Baby and all the Tupac songs. And even though he was another different type of polarity, it's a different type of understanding that you get. Listening to Biggie and all of them West Coast rappers, Eazy-E and all of them. Wasn't nobody rich. Wasn't nobody rich at the time in the 90s from selling dope on music. It was just the idea of selling the dope, you know? And as you move further along into the 90s, right? What you end up with is a whole different understanding of what's really going on here. You know? So, take a look at this timeline and get an understanding of what's really going on here, right? You got Menace to Society, all the hood gangster movies, you know? Staple of the 90s. Now, after James Brown, we had the blaxploitation 70s movies. Everything goes on into alignment at the top. The grimiest shit that I got at the top is the cap. It's the, if you don't want to go to college, then this is your other alternative, right? So they're using the law of polarity off the tops in order to create the boundaries of the rhythm, right? So you got Martin movies like Menace to Society, Boys in the Hood, New Jersey Drive. Drop a 90s gangster hood movie in there if you can remember one. New Jack City, Tales from the Hood. You'll be knee deep in the shit. Shout out to the 90s hood movies, because one of the part of the programs of the 90s hood movies was a lot of black actors ended up coming out of there, right? And a lot of them ended up doing something strange for a piece of change to be able to get seen in that limelight. And it started with the blaxploitation movies of the 70s. You notice a lot of those old black 70s actors that ain't even become nothing. None of them came out and really told no stories about what really go on in Hollywood. A lot of them ain't get that close, but a lot of them, they was the first ones to have something happen to them. You know, it's an experiment. They see that it worked. The play worked. James Brown worked. You know, Bill Cosby, they synced it working. They synced it in full effect. You know, and so going into the 2000s, you end up with movies like Drumline, and then you end up with a guy by the name of Kanye West, right? So Kanye West, he is a character. We all know that. And with him being that character that he is, we were certain to see some stuff going on with him. All right. So, getting into Kanye West here, right? Kanye West came out in 2004, The College Dropout. All right. Now, you see, he has an extensive list of music. Extensive list. Platinum music. I ain't put down all of his platinum records and accolades and Grammys and all of that shit, because I really don't give a fuck about that part of it. The important part that I want to address is, out of all of these albums, the three most important ones that push forth the agenda is his very first three. The ones that put him in a position to be able to think he could have something to say to these people that put him in position. And that's The College Dropout, Late Registration, and Graduation. Gotta end it with the graduation. Gotta pull the Theo Huxtable, right? Gotta show him that college is the way to go. Now, keep in mind, I can't say whether or not Kanye West actually did even go back to college and graduate, but the point of it is, look how many of us same 80s babies who has said, fuck them student loans, fuck that college tuition, fuck all that bullshit, I'm gonna go do something else, ended up listening to Kanye, ended up thinking about the decisions that we made while we not in school. Everybody saying, you need to go to school, you need to go to school. When I was graduating in 1999, damn, I'm showing my age, but I look goddamn good if I do say so myself. But when I graduated in 1999 and I had went to Wayne State University, I didn't know what the fuck I was going for. Let me repeat that. I did not know what the fuck I was going to college for. I went to college because I had a scholarship and they wasn't gonna give me the money in cash. And the only way I was gonna be able to cash out that scholarship money was to fill out the FAFSA, get all the student loans well, I ain't getting no student loans, but all the free money so that I could get the kickback of the scholarship money. Yep, that's what I went to school for. I was one of the people who was able to duck out of college loans. No, I didn't graduate from college, but I'm a self-student, which is what this is all about as well. You got to be a self-student. If you decide to go to one of their colleges or universities, first things first, know exactly what you're going for. You know? It's a cold world out here where you got a whole bunch of people out here with bachelor's degrees. You know, people like, well, I guess I got to get my master's, or, you know, they coming out of college, you're like, how the hell I'm supposed to have experience in my field and I just graduated, and they talking about this. It's one of those things that the system itself is designed to do. All the influx did of college applicants was take more money from the regular people. Because it ain't just black people that this affected, but we was one of the main targets of this particular agenda. And this particular agenda got a lot of y'all in debt. Got a lot of people in so much debt. Got a lot of people in so much debt, they can't swim their way out. They can't crawl their way out. They don't know another way out, you know. But moving on, Kanye West's first album, considered a classic by many. And we go get into a little bit of the synopsis of what this says here about his first album. It says The College Dropout, Kanye West's debut studio album, released on February 10th, 2004, marked a pivotal movement in hip-hop. They already know. Wasn't just a pivotal movement in hip-hop, but it was a pivotal movement financially for a lot of different sectors of the world. West, initially recognized as a producer for artists like Jay-Z and Talib Kweli, faced skepticism in his transition to a solo artist. Over 4 years of meticulous work, he crafted a unique musical style known as chipmunk soul. Excuse me, let me say that again. Chipmunk soul. Using sped-up vocal samples from soul and R&B records. Lyrically, he explored themes of family, self-consciousness, materialism, religion, racism, and education, diverging from gangster rap norms, right? The album debuted at number 2 at the Billboard 200, selling 441,000 copies in its first week. Commercially successful and critically acclaimed, it's hailed as one of the greatest albums ever, pioneering chipmunk soul and conscious rap subgenres. All right. So what you have to pay attention to is the education part, because that's what we're focusing on right here. He got everybody going back to school, going back to college, whether he did that on purpose, on his own, or if they came to him with that agenda, which I think is more than likely that someone came to him with the agenda and said, if you do X, Y, and Z, we guarantee that these things will happen. And not to say that he's not a creative genius and that he didn't make any of those songs. Of course he did. But we all know, based on the interviews from Meek Mill, based on the interviews from Neo and all of these other artists that's coming out there publicly saying they don't really have as much creative control as they would like in their songs. They have to make a certain type of music for people, directed to them by their record companies. When Kanye West first came out, he was not an independent artist. He was signed to Rockefeller Def Jam, which those are also have a hand that feeds them. So with these hands that end up getting fed from the top to the bottom, the artist at the bottom really has no choice on what type of music they're going to put out. So it seems like, for example, the Cosby Show was Bill Cosby's idea. Well, he was just making Fat Albert and the Gang before then. You know, he was just making I Spy before then. Do you think Bill Cosby came up to the NBC producers at that time and said, hey, I have an idea about me being married with a bunch of kids and whoop-de-whoop, whoop, 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 whoop? No, someone sat down with him. They collaborated that idea. He's the producer of the show, of course, but that's just for namesake. When Bill Cosby got to feeling himself, got to feeling his ego, and wanted to break that law of rhythm, right? He synced what was going on with Martin. He synced what was going on with the movies. He synced everything that was going on the opposite polarity, and he said, fuck that. I'm tired of these people with their pants hanging all off their ass. He started going around the country and doing, I don't know what you want to call them, speaking events, you know, basically saying we got to do better. We got to get back on the agenda that he brought forth with the boule and with the elites and all of that without really saying it. The problem is they know that Bill Cosby really is the type of person that if put in certain positions, people will follow him. He didn't shut up the first time when he was trying to buy NBC and they chitty chitty bang bang offed his son. Remember, he disappeared after that. And when he came back, he's still on the same agenda. He should have disappeared backed up into the crowd. Shut up. Bill Cosby would have never went to jail for nothing. Nobody would have said anything about his past indiscretions. He would have just disappeared. But because he came back into the limelight and it wasn't his turn anymore, when these people get to promoting their agendas and start doing these things that they do, you gotta wait your turn, and when your turn is over with, when they're done using you up, they're gonna set you to the side. And if you got something to say about it afterwards, oh, it's gonna be hell to pay for that ass. As they say, that's that ass, Mr. Postman. And hence why it ended up being hell for Kanye West, right? Kanye West moved on, came out with late registration. It's levels to this, right? Came out with late registration, and let's see what they say about late registration, right? They say late registration. The second studio album by American rapper and producer Kanye West made its impactful debut on August 30th, 2005 through Def Jam Recordings and Rockefeller Records. Says during a year-long recording process split between Hollywood and New York City studios, West collaborated with John Bryan, resulting on a groundbreaking album featuring guest appearances from music heavyweights like Jay-Z, Common, and Jamie Foxx. Departing from the soul samples of his debut, The College Dropout, West ventured into a more orchestral realm, incorporating an array of instruments unusual in hip-hop. The album's socially conscious themes and sophisticated production garnered widespread critical acclaim and commercial success, propelling it to the top of charts worldwide and earning West numerous Grammy nominations, including Best Rap Album, right? And so I was looking at this one post, this one guy, I forget his name, god damn it, I gotta start remembering who people are so I could give them their proper respect, proper credit, proper shout out for some of the things that they say. But he was saying about how rap music is just put into one box. You got hip hop, you got rap, but it's really all lumped together, you know? And so it's like best rapper, best new rapper, that's it. It's really like only a few categories. A lot more people should win rap awards technically and like the Grammys, but they got everybody pigeonholed into a box. And that box that they're pigeonholed into is for a reason. If they allow other subsets of rap music as their own thing, right? It takes away the power of that sublet. They have to lump that sublet in with the whole group so that when people look at rap, they can associate all rap together as one thing. So, for example, when you listen to rock and roll, you got soft rock, punk rock, rock and roll, heavy metal. The list goes on, probably some more I ain't named, you know, whatever. But they're all different categories. So if you say you like rock music, person may say, well, what type of rock music do you like? You got to be more specific. But when you say you like rap music, everybody automatically assumes you like all of it. Like, it don't matter what rap it is, it's your shit. And that's the point of them lumping it together like that, because now they can say gangster rap and then just put it over the top. Rap music is bad, you know? But Kanye West comes and brings the sunshine to rap music. He brings their agenda back through the music. At first they did it visually with the Cosby Show and A Different World. On the timeline I showed you, see, I threw in Drumline on there. Movies like that giving you the college experience, coming in through the late 90s, early 2000s. And then Kanye West hit you with the music. And it don't matter what the hell he talking about on his songs. The name of the album is College Dropout. The name of the album is Late Registration. The name of the album is Graduation. Right? And the album cover don't look like nothing to do with a graduation to me, but that's neither here nor there. What's important is the fact that he named it Graduation. And so let's take a quick look at the synopsis of The Graduation. The Graduation, the third studio album by American rapper and producer Kanye West, made its mark on the music scene when it was released on September 11th, 2007 through Def Jam Recordings and Rockefeller Records. Recorded between 2005 and 2007 in studios across New York and Los Angeles. West helmed most of the production with contributions from other producers, including DJ Toomp, I believe that's what his name is. Notable guest appearances featuring Dwele, T-Pain, Lil Wayne, Mos Def, DJ Premier, and Chris Martin. Departing from his earlier soul-based sound, Graduation drew inspiration from stadium tours, house music, and indie rock, embracing synthesizers, electronics, and diverse samples. The album received widespread acclaim. Debuted at number 1 on the US Billboard 200 and spawned its hits like Stronger and Good Life. It also played a pivotal role in shifting the hip-hop landscape away from gangsta rap. West's musical progression on Graduation showcased his ability to evolve and innovate within the genre. Powerful stuff right there, y'all. Powerful stuff right there. So they moved on from gangster rap, and then he ended up having what? Dope dealer rap. Dope dealer rap is different from gangster rap, even though they consider drug dealer rap and gangster rap the same. Is really kind of do different things. There's levels to it, like I was saying. But out of the I'm a boss getting my keys from Pablo Escobar and I'm moving them overseas and I got bricks and all of that shit that Jay-Z and Rick Ross and everybody was talking about in the 2000s as the agenda from rap music changed. We didn't change it. Remember, they still approved the message. It became uncool to be the broke nigga rapping. You no longer was able to rap about how I gotta feed my family. Now it's my family fed than the motherfucker. And if you ain't get it how I got it, then you's a stupid motherfucker, because guess what? It's so much money in selling dope that I'ma rap about it to y'all. Keep in mind, still studio gangsters though. We all know who Rick Ross is. We all know who the real Rick Ross is. So the imposter Rick Ross, shout out to Rick Ross, dope ass rapper, but the imposter Rick Ross is a part of the agenda. You thinking he know Pablo Escobar and all of them? No, he know what to do with his money though, and he got those people to teach him how to do with his money in the right way. They give people the financial landscape to be able to appear successful in the music industry, because keep in mind, coming out of the 90s, folks was getting fucked up. They getting killed. You getting murdered. You know, families hooked on drugs, families broken up. You know, people going to live in a youth home, going to stay with foster parents, going to live with aunties and uncles and in the basements, and it's real rough. And not to say it's not that rough right now, but it was a whole different monster coming up out of the 80s, because they gave not no fucks about what happened to us. You know, they don't care right now, but this was the implementation of the first round of the most vicious attacks that could be put on to what you would call a human being. Forget it being black people. If you were guys and you take care of humans, you know, white people was fucked up too. But the story was about the hood. And the story was about the hood is because it was the agenda that they was pushing. With the opposite side of that is you either go to college or you end up like this. But people ain't want to end up like that. And then at the same time, as people started to fail in college, as people started to drop out of college, as people started to say, hey, fuck it, I'm gonna get a job, I'm gonna find a trade. They took away the trade schools. Now you gotta pay for trade schools. Those things not available in the high schools no more. Now you gotta get out of school to go to school again. They damn near guaranteeing you that. Or we got a career in rapping for you. All you gotta do is rap about all this drug money that you making, even if you ain't got it. What I'm showing here is a chart. This is college tuition, right? The college tuition and how it moved from basically the 1970s all the way up into a couple of years ago, 2021, 22. Now that big, tall, blue line that you see going all the way up to almost $65,000. That's the actual cost of private college per year. So that's $55,000 to go to a private college. Now, we know what inflation is, and inflation is when they put a tax on top of the tax on top of the tax. So if they didn't put all this tax on top of the tax on top of the tax on top of the tax, then a private college would cost about $20,000 a year. That is a $35,000 difference of course. When back in I understand as time goes on, things get more expensive, but the disparity of cost is where you got to look at where it jumped up at. 1983, 84, 1981, 82, 83, 84. Then next thing you know, 85 through 87, you start to see a jump up. Then 91 and 92, oh, it really started jumping up. 96, 97. Then you see that blue line, it's just doubling and doubling and doubling and doubling. Year after year. The actual public college costs, we're looking at the light blue line. The next nearest line that's going up, that's almost $25,000 a year for a public college. So if you go to a private school and you do 4 years, you're coming out of $200,000 some way, somehow. If you go to a public university, on average, you're coming out of about $100,000 over 4 years. So they're doubling up on you if you go to a private college. But at the end of the day, how are you going to pay back $100,000? See, y'all don't get it. You understand? Craig and Smokey couldn't even pay back $200 in the 90s. And they really had $120 already. They was really scamming. They really only needed $80. And what happened to goddamn Craig check? He said he went to go pick up his check. He had just got paid. What the hell happened? It's a fan theory going on that said he had bought that pistol with that bread. But either way, they asking everybody for $200. They already had some money. Scam, scam, scam. He was scamming on Friday. Look, this chart is diabolical. The diabolical part about this chart is they do it in your face and they don't give a damn as long as they promoting that agenda for you to go to college. Now, look at 2006, 2007, Look at 2011, 2012. Look at 2016, 2017. It is just jumping and jumping and jumping. Coincidence? I say nah. I say no, it's not a coincidence at all. This is a part of the game. This is a part of how they get down. This is a part of the agenda that they set forth. This is a part of the idea. This is a part of the idea of who we are and who we project ourselves to be. See, we think we pick who we want to be. But the reality is do we really pick who we want to be, or are they picking who they think that we want to be? See, think about it, right? Back when I was coming up, the idea of being a rapper, like a legit, like I'm gonna grow up to be a rapper, you had to, that's why it was so many groups back in the day. Wu-Tang, it's like 50 of them niggas. Why? Because in order to be a rapper, you had to go and find other rappers. Everybody wasn't a rapper. Your best rappers found each other so that they could form groups and hopefully blow up together, and maybe one come out solo, you come out solo, and so on and so forth, you know? Or you had your crew with you that you rap with if you was the leader, like Nelly and Saint Lunatics and so forth, you know? DMX had the Rough Riders, you know? Jay-Z and the La Familia, you know, the Rockefellers, you know what I'm saying? Benny Siegel, all of them, you know? Everywhere you looked, it was a group. And that was a part of the landscape of coming out as a group. They changed the dynamic. It ended up being an individual thing. I'm the biggest boss that you see thus far. They still came out with people, but it wasn't like group status no more. They ushered in a new level of thinking about how you view a group. So they individualized it, right? But now more people want to be rappers because now they see how lucrative the business is. So even if all these rappers don't got all of these money, they're promoted as if they do. They're promoted as if they're billionaires, which I don't think none of them really are. Not in the context of what we think a billionaire is. Ask any one of them to go get $1 billion. They don't have it. They don't have any liquid money. All of their money is in shares and stocks, and they're living off of their cash outs from, you know, their options that they're able to pull out. And all of their so-called real money is really tied up. But they're going to give you the illusion that they have so much power in this game. They don't really have no power. It's the illusion of power by them putting them on TV and advertising them in a certain way, you know? But we gonna get back into this timeline, right? Because this timeline is real funny to me, you know? And I take this timeline to be one of those type of things to where most people are going to look at it and say, okay, maybe it's a coincidence, right? Well, if you don't understand the law of cause and effect, you know there's no such thing as coincidence. If you understand who these people are, then you also understand that it's a dirty game. It's a real dirty game. And they're going to do these type of things on purpose in order to be able to push forth their agenda. Okay? So, coming up out of the drug kingpin music, right? Remember, they just said Kanye West stopped the gangster rap music. But remember, all rap is categorized to be the same. There's no difference. They do not make a difference of what is what when it comes to rap. It's all the same to them when they're putting it out. We may call it a difference because we think it's our culture that we created, and therefore we think we gotta say so in what's called what. So we'll say J. Cole is a conscious rapper and Kendrick Lamar is a conscious rapper and Rick Ross is a gangster rapper or a drug dealer rapper, and we'll say that, you know, everything in between, but there isn't individual boxes for rappers. It's all one flavor. And the new flavor that's the same as the old flavor is trap music. Shout out to King Von. Rest in peace. He got wrapped up in the rhythm, in the vibration. So go back and watch the previous show, and then you will be able to see that they actually implemented 440 hertz as the standard tuning pitch for music, which is an unnatural frequency. So when you start bringing in all of these 808 beats and all of these other things, it takes you away from the natural consciousness that you would have listening to music in the correct tone or in the correct vibration, right? So you get wrapped up in that, and then they purposely put out certain genres of music. So there's no longer a studio gangster. Nah, as they say, if you did that shit, if somebody said you did that shit, you did that shit. So YSL or Young whatever group, all of them, young thugs and all of them indictments, all of that, what's the guy name? Damn, I can't even think. What's his name? He ended up getting caught up riding in the Benz, had some type of transaction going on. They got it caught on camera. It'll come to me. He had that song with Lil Durk. Boom, 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 boom. I can't think of it. Take it in blood. Yeah. Pooh Shiesty. Pooh Shiesty. That's his name. Pooh motherfucking Shiesty. Locked up right now because he lived that life. He lived that life for real. And they skate around other little non-threatening type of rap, but it's still based in the same parameters of the agenda that they promote. So you'll get somebody like Roddy Ricch out here and it sound good, but he's still collaborating with the same people, you know? And if you look on the timeline, after Kanye West, I got Obama. My president is black, my Lambo's blue. Got us again. See, Barack Obama is a symbol of what college can do for you as a so-called black person. Think about it. What is the one thing that coming out of the 90s that Tupac said? Oh, we ain't ready to see a black president. But black president, black. In the 90s, we thought the best we was going to ever do was Bill Clinton. We was thinking that the best, closest we was going to get to a black president was Bill Clinton. Then they hit us with George Bush after that. We over here like, oh, fuck, we in wars, all type of shit. It was a sigh of relief. It was a beacon of hope to have Barack Obama in office. But during that time is when they ushered in trap music. So when we thinking that it's getting better on one end, they give you the opposite polarity on the other end. And now you got niggas out here really killing for real and really making money in music. So now what you gonna do if you a hood nigga, huh? What you gonna do if you a hood nigga? You gonna start rapping. Even if you ain't got no talent, what does it matter? You see everybody else out here with questionable talent that then just got out of jail, then just got away with getting bodies on them. Why not you? You could blow up just like them. Internet out here, shit, you been selling dope. What the fuck is the difference? And not saying that it's wrong, because there is no such thing as right and wrong. What happens is just understanding. If you get wrapped up in the vibration, you're going to fall on one of these sides of these polarities and not know it. You're going to be going back to college, racking up more student loans, not understanding why. I just got to get my degree. Why? My grandma be proud of me. Why? She'll be rolling over in her grave. I'm going to be the first one in my family to do it. I like that one. I'm going to be the first. Because ain't nothing beating the first. But why are you going? I ain't got no knock on nobody going to college. For real. Because education is education. But the things that they actually teach you in college, they only teaching you surface level things that's not really preparing you to give you deeper insight, deeper understanding. When colleges and universities, think of the word university. The university is to study the universe. Period. And if you understand that you are the universe is of you as you are. The universe is inside you and you are the universe in itself. As above, so below. When you start understanding the Hermetic principles, the law of mentalism, the law of correspondence, the law of vibration, the law of polarity, the law of rhythm, the law of cause and effect, the law of gender, and you start understanding how these works, you will clearly see on my timeline as it demonstrates how they literally bounce you from polarity to polarity, and all they're doing is just changing the person that's the spokesperson for the agenda that they're carrying out. They're changing the aspect of the movie. See, when they don't necessarily need the visual images of us killing each other like they did with the 90s hood movies anymore. That served its purpose. That got enough of us out here killing, stealing, fighting, and all of that shit off the tops. Even if we wasn't thinking about doing it, it becomes a fear-based consciousness that they able to use to control us. Oh, don't go in the hood, you go get fucked up. And not saying that you won't get fucked up in a lot of hoods. Yeah, I done heard some shit about certain hoods, not even in Detroit, in Chicago, Louisiana, Miami, LA, New York. You go to some of these hoods in these other cities, you may not make it out for real. One of my partners telling me about the hoods down there in New Orleans. And you say when you pull into the projects, they got the dumpsters. Dumpsters is clean. Ain't no trash in them. He say it's niggas with AKs popping up out of the dumpster to check who you is. Ain't nobody going in there, not police. And if you ain't from there, you ain't coming in there. I'm like, God damn, straight up. Hey, people live that life. For real. And the trap music takes it to a new level. And while we sitting up there and they showing the police get killed in the streets while Obama is in office, that was the underplay for the fact that trap music was taking off. See, we ignoring trap music because we were focused on at the time of police getting killed black people getting killed in the streets by police. When Donald Trump came into office and all the Black Lives Matter and all of that shit was going on, all right, get that shit the fuck up on out of here. That shit slowly started declining. You don't even see that shit on TV no more now that Biden in office. You don't give a fuck. The agenda is in. But Obama served his purpose as the distraction. While they slipped in trap music and we over there with hope for Obama, then what's next? I call it twerk music. All your sexy reds and all of them. Remember, when it came to women in the music industry. When it came to women in hip hop, they always been trying to get a foothold into the game to be taken seriously. So back in the 80s, late 80s, 90s, you got Queen Latifah, MC Lyte, and a lot of these female MCs at that time, righteous side of the game as far as what we would know to be righteous, right? Something that you could kind of stand behind back and say, yeah, I support that shit as being a good thing during that time. But then the transition to the Lil' Kims, Foxy Browns, and so on. But keep in mind, they were still miles and levels below your top male artists. Your black man artists, they still ran the game. They ran the game to a level to where the only way you could really get known as a woman artist during the 90s is you had to be featured with the next black man artist. Now they don't need no feature. They can just come right on the fuck out. Here I am on your TV showing all of this ass and talking about the most raunchiest shit that you wouldn't want your kids to listen to. But guess what? It's still a lot of folks stuck in that mentality. They want their kids twerking to it. I ain't saying good, bad, right, or wrong. But kids is twerking to the twerk music. The same way we was rapping to the gangster music, pulling out our water guns, pretending that we was gangsters. And who was the face of this twerk music? On the opposite polarity to say, oh, if you don't want to twerk, then go to school, go to college, be like Kamala Harris. Remember, she's black, y'all, allegedly. That's because you can identify as anything you want now. So it doesn't matter if she's light-skinned, white with a tan. It doesn't matter if her parents' heritage and all of that isn't directly have to do with anything of being so-called black in America. Doesn't matter at all. Doesn't matter who her husband is. Doesn't matter what her kids look like. She says she's black. She says she's for black women. And now black women will say, okay, well, this is the example of what to be as a black woman. Go to college. Maybe you could run for president. And then fuck around. I don't know how they go run the game. Remember, this is all a show. Their show ain't no different than mine. Entertainment. I'm just entertaining y'all with the truth. And they entertaining y'all with the truth, but they hiding it. But it's still all truth. The truth is, if you do not understand the law of rhythm, you will get caught up in it. Everything is rhythm. That's why they got you starting off in school, elementary school. School is set up in the same construct of a job. You're going to get up early in the morning. You're going to be there all day. They make it a little bit more lenient for you when you're 5, 6, 7, and 8 years old. And by the time you get into middle school, it's serious business. You'd be lucky if you're able to go outside for recess. You got a fucking book report due, and it better be done. Get to high school, oh, it's serious business now. And I don't even have to mention the fact that every school has the same dynamics of a prison. So regardless of which opposite polarity you're going to take, you're going to learn the system that they have designed for you to be in. Just by going to school, you're learning the prison system. If you ever get in trouble, you're going to get in the prison system. You're going to be like, damn, this shit just like school, except we ain't really learning shit. It's a cold world. So who's next? Who's ushering a new agenda of the 2030s? What's the new music genre of rap going to be like? Is they even going to still keep it as black people? Let's keep it real. They could move this whole thing over to Mexicans and Keep black people doing the same thing, but just add Mexicans, that's a new thing, and wouldn't nobody even know what the fuck going on unless you're watching the law rhythm to see that they shifted it. Because keep in mind, rap music is a worldwide phenomenon at this point. It is a culture that has taken on its own nature, its own force. It's not owned by anybody. It is a corporate culture that has consumed the world. The thing that we called hip hop is no longer hip hop. It is now a corporate monster devouring everybody that gets caught up in the rhythm of it. You get caught up in that vibration, you won't get out of that rhythm. You don't realize that there's other things out here for you to do. And then on the opposite end of it, you get caught up in that Kanye West shit. Now let me get back to Kanye, because he going out just like Bill Cosby did. When Kanye West got drunk and went on Drink Champs and started spewing all of that anti-SEM word, I ain't even gonna spell it out. I don't want no trouble from the people with the small hats, because that's who Kanye West got into it with. Those are the people who run this music industry. Those are the people who run the NBA. Those are the people who run the NFL. Those are the people who run Congress. Those are the people who run your presidents. Those are the people who probably run the Pope too. Or at least they in cahoots. Because once you start getting too far up at the top of that triangle, once you start getting up that far, then all of them are in cahoots together. They're still trying to be at the very tippy top, but they share information and steal information from each other in order to try to get to the top. And when they see one agenda working for one, then they're going to say, all right, we're going to adopt that agenda because we see the results of how it works for you to be able to control the minds and control the masses and all of that. A big example of that is the United States haven't been back to the moon in a very, very long time. But if you go and look up inside of China's scientific research and some of these other small countries, India and all of them got space programs equivalent to NASA at this point. And they all have moon missions, and they're telling their people that they're going to the moon and all of that. Why do each individually country have to go to the moon for themselves? If NASA is the powerhouse of information when it comes to space and all things cosmos, then no other country should technically have to go. They're basically following in some footsteps that have already been laid out. It should be new information, new frontiers of space, considering that NASA says that they travel all of these billions of miles with their telescopes and their rovers and their drones and their this and their that. Why should any other country feel the need to have to make a space program? They should just be piggybacking off of what NASA got going on at this point. No, the reason why they're making their own space programs is because every country figured out that it's a free-for-all. And the only way to win this game and to play this game is to make the same steps that the other people made in order to be successful. So when they brought in the school system, right? This modern day school system that we have is actually pretty old, pretty ancient. I'm going to do another show about it when I break down where the school system actually comes from and the ramifications of that, you know. Shout out to John D. Rockefeller and his wife for being the head of the HBCUs, the historically black colleges and universities. None of them are historically black. How can they be historically black when all of them were founded and built by historically white people? See, this is one of those situations where you got to really think down deep into yourself and ask yourself, how long has this agenda really been going on? And see, I got it starting with, on this particular timeline, with James Brown and I'm Black and I'm Proud. But it goes back way further and way deeper than that. This is just a snapshot of the past 50 years of how they bounced this rhythm back and forth, up and down, up and down. College or something shit that's gonna have you going to jail. College or some shit that's gonna have you going to jail. Back and forth, back and forth. And they're gonna keep doing it. Why? It's one of the most profitable industries that you could be a part of. Education, the books, the pencils, the fake classes and curriculum that don't teach you really nothing. The shit they had you out here in this world wondering what the fuck to do after you instilled and been in school an extra 4 years or no another 100,000 motherfucking dollars, and you still don't know what to do with yourself, but you did what you said, what you thought was right, what they told you to do. You listen to Bill Cosby. He one of them. And when he didn't want to be one of them anymore, and he wanted to try to go off on his own rogue self, they locked his dumb ass up. Kanye West, he was one of them. When he decided he didn't want to be one of them no more, they put his ass in an insane asylum. They got him on drugs. Real deal. Real spill. And he's on drugs right now. In fact, let me see if I can find it for you. If I can find the clip quickly, I won't worry about it. If I can find it quickly. Let's see, I'll get right. Let me see, where is it at? Where is it at? Yeah, all right. All right. Let me get this footage up. It's not a whole lot of footage going on. Let's see. Hold on. Take your time with me, y'all. I ain't in no rush. I want to make sure y'all get all the right information. Make sure y'all got all the right information. That's all I'm doing. And all of it is hearsay. All of it is gossip. All of it is just a bunch of celebrities and their show. But it does have ramifications on what's going on with you. Because this is a part of the game that we've seen happen before. You know? We seen it happen before with Michael Jackson. You know? So let me get this up. All right, here we go.
could keep the drugs going.
This is what
They say Kanye's on nitrous.
Kanye's
keep the drugs going.
on nitrous. Kanye's on nitrous. So basically what nitrous is it's like laughing gas. And they go through, let me continue to play it a little bit.
Nitrous oxide.
Laughing gas.
Which apparently is laughing gas.
Yeah. Whippets.
Yeah.
Oh,
and his dentist is
Whippets.
has said that he's not the one that supplied it. But
what does that do? Just make you laugh?
It makes you high.
I don't know nothing.
A little lightheaded.
Hey, yo, dog, I don't know nothing about no white drugs. Yo, that's some white shit.
Well, nah, it's niggas buying the giant Cool Whip looking shits with like flavored gas in it now just to hit them shits.
Oh, shit.
Boom, 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 boom.
You scared him, man.
Yo, I was like, what the fuck is going on? I got a Wild Rings home.
I was like,
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fast forward it to the part where Joe Budden says the most important thing in this video.
Yeah.
I do believe some of this Kanye
We need a
shit.
foot race now.
Listen.
Oh, that's possible, yeah.
Unfortunately, I do. And not just Kanye. I do believe
I don't
that,
like the source, but
I believe that at a certain level, there's a handler by you or eyes on you, and if you start getting crazy, listen, your primary physician could be the op, your dentist could be the op, your mechanic could be the op. Like, I'm psycho enough to believe some of that.
I believe that. Yeah.
I'm not saying that exists with him,
It's
but
beneficial if we
but I
keep you
do
fucked
believe
up.
it.
We got to keep you in line.
Yeah.
And I certainly got an email from somebody formerly in his camp yesterday wanting to do like a little tell-all, but I dubbed it.
Now, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Your boy Joe Budden himself comes out and says that they're getting ready to do Kanye West like they did Michael Jackson. Y'all heard it right there, folks. Pay attention to what's going on. Kanye West come up missing or something like that. See, Kanye West, he fucked up. When he started going at them guys and they made him not a billionaire no more because, first of all, what he wanted to do was he wanted to go against the grain. You are to perform our agenda. You are to shut up about it. And the things that you think that you want, you're never going to get. You have to stay in your lane in this thing. This is about control. Kanye West wanted to manufacture his own shoes. Okay? Let me say that again. He wanted to manufacture his own shoes. See, they don't give a damn about you putting your name on the shit that they make because they're going to make most of the money from the manufacturing of it anyway. The percentage that you get off of them using your name, likeness, and all of that shit is small peanuts. Real. Hey, the scale that split after they get paid from everything that they do. It may appear like it's 50-50 or 40-60 their way. You know, you may even got you a nice 70-30 split and you thinking that you're getting that 30%. No, you're getting 10% or less from any of these deals. Even Michael Jordan. Very small percentage. And even though he got the Jordan brand, it's a subsidiary of Nike. Michael Jordan knows how to play the game. Michael Jordan never said, I want to manufacture my own shoes. Because he never stepped out of his lane, they say you can sell these same shoes as long as you fucking want, guy. But the second you start trying to make these bitches yourself, it's going to be a problem. And Kanye West created problems for himself by stepping outside of his lane, going to try to manufacture his own shoes. They like, motherfucker, you not LeVar Ball? See, they don't give a fuck about somebody like that in the Ball family because they know that the Ball family don't have enough juice. They don't have enough influential and power around the world. And who's to say that Lonzo Ball not even fucking hurt and that LaMelo Ball not even fucking hurt? They in the NBA, they got their contracts, and they might have been told to sit the fuck down from the shit your pops tried to pull. Manufacturing y'all own shoe. Get the fuck out of here. We do that, not you. That's how they feel about it. Not manufacturing shit. You want to open up your own t-shirt brand? That's cool. You better not be trying to spin your own fucking cotton. We do that. You go get the shirts from us. We find out you making your own shirts, manufacture them, it's going to be a problem. If you got a big enough name like Kanye West, you're definitely not going to get a chance to manufacture shit. We're going to use your name and we're going to ride your name the fuck out until we can't no more. And if you get out of line, we putting you in the crazy house. We putting you on drugs. You going to go out like fucking Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, you want to go out beyond our back and buy the Beatles? You want to set up a half monopoly to where you think you're going to control Sony? You're out of here, pal. This is a free-for-all. And we peeped your game, and we fucking out of here. Master P, we'll make sure that you're going to have to do it on your own. You gave up too much of the juice to people. Snoop Dogg, stay in your lane. We'll let you in the Olympics and all of that cool shit. It's all a show. And the people who have these agendas, they don't give a fuck who in the show as long as you run their agenda. As soon as you go against the grain, you go out like Bill Cosby, you go out like Kanye West. And they the ones who told your ass to go to college. Is you going? Are you sending your kids? Yeah, got a couple comments on here. Yeah, there it is. What's good in the hood? Fontaine, nice seeing you. Nice seeing you too. Peace, peace, peace. Hope you enjoying the show. Definitely had a really good night. Definitely enjoyed my time with y'all. It's always a beautiful thing to be able to sit down, be in peace, be able to express my thoughts, give some insight on these Hermetic principles, 7 universal laws, how they affect you in every single day life. A lot of people have a difficult time explaining the law of rhythm and explaining how it works, how the parameters of it are. But in a nutshell, that's really what I showed you today. On one of my previous shows, got the law of rhythm and the science of not giving a fuck. It's a breakdown of how to rise above these particular rhythms. You can go back and watch that video to get some insight on how to rise above these particular rhythms. They're only going to give you a choice based on the law of polarity. It's the illusion of choice. It's either go to college or go to jail. Run this trap music or run them student loans up. Now, everything in between is getting a job, maybe getting an entrepreneur, being an entrepreneur, running your own business and getting into the game. But see, if you become an entrepreneur, that's empowering yourself to be able to compete with them in this game that they already got a hell of a head start on. So they're going to promote this college so they can put you in debt. And so that even if you become an entrepreneur, you already got so many hurdles that you done put in front of yourself by listening to them. If you got you a great idea, fuck college. Focus on putting that idea together. Focus on getting some investors. Focus on developing it, strategizing it, and putting it into play. Get some people who went to college behind you to work for you. Because this is a free for all. Every man, woman, or whatever for themselves. And if you can get to the top of the food chain, if you can get Mount Rushmore and get your face carved into it, you live forever getting this reality as a god. In order to be able to do things like that, you got to know who you are. You got to know thyself. You got to understand these laws. And it's a process. It's not that you read these laws one time and think you understand them. Once you start seeing it in action, once you start seeing it in play, once you start understanding how these spells work, then you may be able to see the rhythms a little bit more. This is a very brief timeline that I showed you. Only 50 years, but you see everything that they put in. And I just put in major key points, but we could go and break down how many 1990s black hood movies that they actually put out during that time. It's hundreds of them, if not thousands. I can only imagine the ones that didn't make it to the big screen, the straight-to-video ones. You look up and you will see Vivica Fox and just some wild ass shit. Like, the hell you doing in here? I know you was in there. She in there for 15 minutes as a cameo. Somebody done paid her to pay another hood movie. That's how it go. They load them up on you. And we all look at all of those same 90s hood movies like, that's my shit. That's my shit. I seen on the Facebook they had it as check your black card. How many of these hood movies you didn't see? And they had 50 of them listed off the tops. I'm like, damn, I done seen 48 of them. Got my ass too. But I understand the rhythm now. I understand what they were doing. And I guarantee you, after Kamala Harris, there's going to be another face. I guarantee you, after twerk music, there's going to be something else. They might rewind it. They might run the play back. Start back over with Unity. Start back over with groups like Public Enemy. Not Public Enemy themselves, but a group like it. Whatever they got to do to continue to run that play, who knows what's going to be next. But you better believe it's going to be in the parameters of this rhythm that they already set. They understand how the rhythm works, and they're going to continue to use it until it doesn't work. And then when that rhythm doesn't work, they're going to create a new one. I would. That's what I do right now for myself. When you understand the law of rhythm, you create rhythms for yourself. And you get out of the concept of what the rhythms they give you. You march by the beat of your own drum. You create your own beat. You create your own rhythm. Once you create your own rhythm, then you make the decision on which next rhythms you decide to be on. You're no longer trapped into a box. You're no longer trapped into a space. You're no longer trapped into a ceiling. There's no longer a floor. It's wide open for you. When you create your own rhythm, you do as you please, as you desire. Not what the system has programmed for you to accept. I'm a living testament. Create your own rhythm. It's a cold world. That's what you need to do. It's a cold world. Tighten up. Cold world. Tighten up. Tighten up. Tighten up. To all my titans out there, all the guys out there, all the goddesses out there, everybody in between. to the NPCs, to those that sleep, to those that's woke, to those in between, to the conscious, to the unconscious, to the dead, to the sleep, to the walking. I hope y'all enjoyed this motherfucking show. I'll be back another time, 10:15, 11:15, somewhere around there. Maybe in the morning, maybe at night. I create my own rhythm. I create my own flow. Ain't no telling when the fuck you go see me pop up on the live. So be prepared. Hit the like, subscribe, hit the notification. Because this is the type of information that can help you think differently. This is the type of information that opens up that pineal gland. This is the type of information that takes you out of the rhythms that they're imposing on you. The shit is diabolical, and I actually love what they're doing. Once you start understanding these laws, you get a different type of respect for the so-called elites that run this motherfucker. Salute to the elites. Salute to the so-called Illuminati. Shout out to y'all. Y'all really doing this shit. Y'all really got a hold to these laws and then really start establishing rhythms and imposing them. That's beautiful. If I was trying to take over the world, I would do the same exact shit. Tried and true, proven. Get inside your mind. Fuck up your rhythm. Now I got control over you. You only need a few things to be able to get control over somebody. Get control over their food, get control over their water, get control over their concept of God. Change their rhythm. Get them out of the understanding of cause and effect. Start getting them to thinking about karma. Start getting them to think about the devil. Using the masculine and feminine energy to control. As above, so below. Regardless of when you're born, whatever time, whether you're born in ancient Roman times, 2 million years ago, 2 million years from now, there will be a system in place. The law of rhythm will always be in effect, just like all of these other laws. So it's definitely been a good night. Definitely been a beautiful night. Appreciate everybody who hung out, stayed all the way through, late night. And catch y'all on the flip side. Yes, indeed. We did it, y'all. Another day, another high vibration. Staying successful, peaceful, prosperous, and healthy. That's the mantra. Mamba mentality. And we out. Peace to the gods. Tighten up.